Edition of the Sports Den. My name is Dominic Papa, and we're coming to you from the we-tv.ca studio in the east end of Windsor, Ontario. Thanks for joining us tonight for this edition of the Sports Den. Got a great panel assembled to talk some sports for you this evening. We'll get into the topics in just a moment, but as I always do each and every week, a couple of shout-outs. First to Harry Lumley and the Herman Green Griffins winning another OFSA championship. Congratulations to the Griffins, and Harry Lumley representing our area very well. Also want to give a shout out to the University of Windsor Lancer men's hockey team. Despite losing, they are still ranked in the top 5, and they will be in action tomorrow evening out at the South Windsor Arena. 7:30 drop of the puck. They will take on the Western Mustangs, so hopefully we'll pack the building, give Kevin Hamlin and the gang a lot of support. Speaking of other events coming up, a couple that I do want to plug, one being here with WeTV, of course, the Windsor Express basketball team. Just on an outstanding roll right now, 6 straight games. They'll try to make it 7 on Friday evening, December 5th. 7 o'clock tip at the Windsor Family Credit Union Center. You can watch all that action live right here on we-tv.ca. Also want to plug the Windsor Minor Hockey Coat Drive, which is coming up on Saturday, December 6th. It'll take place at the 80 Knox Arena out on the west end there on Wyandotte Street. Please be generous, support the Novice Christmas Party Cannon Coat Drive on December 6th. You can see the time from 2 p.m. to 4:30. And what else am I plugging here, Steve? Was there anything else? I don't think we missed anything else, so that's good. Also, if you want to tune into the show or if you want to be a part of the show, you can get onto our Twitter page and tweet us right there at Sports Den Live. If I have time, I will read some of the questions or the comments you have for our panel. On this edition of the Sports Den, we are going to talk some football. Of course, the 2 biggest stories in sports around our area, of course, Ray Rice being reinstated, I guess, to the NFL. Still hasn't got a team to play with. Also, Brady Hoke. I don't think it's too much of a surprise. He has been fired from the University of Michigan. We'll discuss that football, those football stories. Also, in the latter stages of the show, we're going to talk some NBA basketball, the Detroit Pistons, and those 3 great wins that they have so far this season. Boy, dwindling crowds there at the Palace of Auburn Hills, too. We'll get the panel's thoughts on that. Speaking of the panel, let's get to them right now. A great panel assembled here tonight, 3 great sports minds. Sitting to the far side of the table, he's the head coach of the Essex Red Raiders football program, had a great season this year. Also, he is one of the broadcasters for we-tv.ca with the AKO Fratman. Of course, I'm talking about Badia Quas. Welcome to the show, Badia.
Thank you very much, Dominic.
Great to have you here at the studio finally, and pretty good year for your club, Essex Red Raiders.
Yeah, was a good year.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we fell in overtime to well-coached St. Anne's team in the Wilson Conference Championship. And like I said, it was a good year. It would have been great to finish it off with that final victory, but something to continue to build on.
Nice year for football in general in our area as well, Badia. High school football always seems to bring it.
100%. We do have high-quality coaches, and as a result, with the number of programs we have in the high schools, for a small community, we have 20 senior programs that run, and all the coaches who give to the players. Now, of course, good players make good teams, and we do have a plethora of really good high school football players, and evidence of that is Herman being successful in another OFSA bowl game.
Yeah, I think it's the coaching of Badia. There is a lot of great coaches in our area, which is really nice, and you're one of them. Thanks for coming in and helping us out here tonight.
Thank you.
Speaking of another solid coach, he coaches both football and basketball. He works hard with the St. Joseph High School program. He's a veteran of the Sports Den, but hasn't been to the new studio yet, and we're certainly glad and excited to have him here this evening. Mr. Paul Gabriel is with us. Welcome to the show, Paul.
Thanks, Dom.
Like our new digs?
Yeah.
We're okay with it?
Yeah,
We're doing okay with it? Or?
All good.
Yeah. St. Joseph's, you just played in the Freeds tournament.
Yeah.
And I know it's early in the campaign there, high school basketball. How's your team shaping up?
Well, the kudos goes off to the organizers of the Freeds tournament. It was very well put together, and a lot of elite teams came down to Windsor to make up a 24-team draw, 2 flights. We had 2 local teams who made it to their respective flight finals. Like football, basketball is on the rise here in Windsor, Ontario as well. Our team is relatively young, and being a basketball school in terms of in season, like we don't really run stuff outside of like any club or anything, so it's tough. I got kids who play travel soccer, travel basketball, and are very good athletes, but when trying to put it together in basketball, it's like a little tougher. So with that said, we look very young right now, but with a couple more practices, and we start our season Thursday against Riverside in our gym, so we should be okay moving forward.
And you're a 12-month-a-year man when it comes to sports, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's the fire? What keeps the fire going for you?
I just like to teach kids, and when football's going on, from August till November, it's the fire's burning there, and then mid-November till March break, it's basketball. So
yeah, I know we'll get you back here in March for a little March Madness talk. That's for sure.
It'll be fun.
But we're lucky to have you, that's for sure. And thanks for coming in tonight, okay, Paul?
Thanks for having me.
Speaking of basketball, another great basketball guy that we have in the fold in our community. He works extremely hard with the St. Clair College men's program. Has really got this team going in a good direction, I think. After some years of hard work, he's gone through the growing pains, and I think they're going to get over the hump some this year. They won a couple of games on the weekend, handily over Cambrian. Of course, we televised one of those games here at WeTV. It was great to be a part of it at St. Clair College. Talking about Matt Devon, of course, Coach Devon of the Saints. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dom. How are you?
Nice to finish the halfway mark on a winning note.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we had a tough go in some tough games against some really good teams, and didn't pull out the win. So it was nice, to head in the break on a high note.
Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, there's been some growing pains at St. Clair, but you've stuck through this and hung tough. And I think in watching your team this weekend, Matt, I was really impressed. There's some depth there, I think, to work with. Obviously, there's more work to be done, but some nice building parts. Fair to say that?
Yeah, I mean, the support from the admin and the athletic department and everyone at St. Clair's has just been great. And, it's kind of coincided with that as well. Obviously a lot more resources for everyone. The new facility, which, rave reviews from the Freeds tournament, having all those guys in our gym. So things are looking up. I mean, it'd be nice to have a few more wins from this semester, but hopefully next semester we get those, and I know we can compete with anybody, and that's, we're further along than definitely we have been, so it's nice.
I've talked to a couple of people at the Freeds tournament. I got to take it in a little bit myself. There's a lot of coaches excited about the prospects in our area with the high school kids that Paul's working with, of course. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh yeah, I mean, Paul's in that group of great high school coaches in our area. Basketball, along with football, obviously hockey. In this area is just outstanding. There's a ton of great teams, ton of great coaches, ton of great players. It's really nice as a college coach to be able to go to these games and see so much talent and pick up things from coaches that you're always in a learning mode as a coach, and to learn from some of these coaches who've been doing it much longer than I've been doing it is nice as well.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky to have you, that's for sure. And keep up the great work with St. Clair, okay?
Appreciate it, thanks.
And that Sportsplex, I'll tell you folks, it is outstanding. If you haven't been to it yet, check it out. Check out some of the Saints games. They're very competitive, very exciting, and certainly they would really appreciate the support from the public. Let's get into talking some football, of course. We're going to start first. I think we'll keep it close to home. Of course, a lot of U of M fans here. Today, the axe does fall on Brady Hoke. We're going to go to a clip first to start the show off. The athletic director, the interim athletic director, announcing the firing of Brady Hoke. Let's go to that right now.
Well, good afternoon. Today, I informed Brady Hoke that he will not be returning as our football coach next year. And I had mentioned to all of you a couple weeks ago that we would be evaluating his status at the end of the season, and that's what today's announcement is about. So my primary intent today is to do this with deep respect for Brady, his family, the coaches, and all of those associated with our football program. And it's because of their contributions to the University of Michigan. This was not an easy decision. You see, I believe the longevity of our best football coaches are tied to the intersection of the performance or measure of wins and losses with the test and expression of values that underscore their program. And everywhere I go, there is zero question about Brady's values. And I mentioned this trait 2 weeks ago to you. Brady's peers, both active and retired coaches, really respect him.
So there it is, interim athletic director Jim Hackett officially announcing the dismissal of Brady Hoke. 5-7 this year, just a year of turmoil for the University of Michigan football program. Was this inevitable, guys? Who thinks that this had to happen automatically?
Unquestionably.
Yeah.
It had to happen. More importantly, and I think this is the one thing that all coaches will agree on, great players make great coaches. And right now, doesn't seem to be that identity of great Michigan football players. And over the last handful of years, there really hasn't been that quality candidate for a Heisman Trophy or things along those lines. And as a result, there's been a disconnect between the program and the types of players who want to come to Michigan. And it always starts with the head coach. And Brady Hoke wanted to go back to that old style run power game, which is unfortunately a boring style of football for a lot of these great athletes. And they don't have enough great athletes to contend at the national level.
You guys are just nodding your head
No,
here.
I think, as coaches, you never like seeing a fellow coach lose their job, but I think it was inevitable. He just couldn't seem to get over that hump, and more to your point, I don't think there was an identity, on a day that, and we were talking about it, that Rich Rod gets Coach of the Year in the Pac-12. At least with him, there was an identity. They were up-tempo and spread offense and all that, so there was something to grasp onto. With Brady, I don't think he ever developed that. It was just kind of, and really he never developed a quarterback. He used Rich Rod's recruit to play quarterback, and it just never seemed to get any momentum after that first year when they were 11-2, and that was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him too, was having that much success that early, and then it kind of just fell from there. So
Of course, we just saw some video of Ohio State scoring on Michigan. That never sits well whenever Ohio State beats Michigan. That's definitely a negative in the column. Paul, I want to key on something that Badi kind of alluded to here, Michigan football. Obviously, everybody wants to have an identity, and the Michigan football identity, was that power running game. Can that be brought back, and was that maybe the issue here, that Michigan identity hasn't been brought back?
I think he tried to when he got the vote of confidence from Lloyd Carr, and everybody was excited, and they had the carryover from Rich Rod's era with his explosive recruits, and at that point they're in their third and fourth year, and then they had a couple of incoming players like Gardner and the like. So when he goes 11-2 and makes the BCS Bowl, one of the BCS Bowl games, everyone's excited. He's making money for the university. It's on the up and up, and then he began to regress. He began to regress in the sense where they dumped a lot of money into the big house in terms of additional seating, wanted to sell more tickets, generate more revenue. Unfortunately, he's losing big games to in-state rival Michigan State, up the interstate, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. So those are hats we hang ourselves on in terms of needing to be done to be successful at that level, where there are marquee games you need to win, otherwise you're out. So by him losing those games, not bringing in, like he brought in Jabril Peppers, who was an elite, an electrifying recruit, but he didn't know where he was going to put him on the offensive side, defensive side, and just one player where you need, in American football, 11 players to make up that unit, and as Badi alluded to, it's a team that makes the coach look good, right? Like it's like you can run you can drop the best play, Matt will tell you this, and Badi will tell you, you can drop the best play, watch as much film, but if you don't have those guys executing the X's and O's, or listening, or whatever, it's tough, right? So
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that, just in what you're saying there, Paul, I think that's really where he probably suffered too, was player development. Michigan State, they never have those necessarily top 10 recruiting classes, but they always seem to, when a guy comes in his first year and to when he leaves, develops big time, and then all of a sudden they're NFL prospects when maybe they were 3-star or 2-star recruits coming out of high school. So it seemed like he put a lot into the, getting those 4- and 5-star recruits, but they didn't develop, into 4- and 5-star players. They kind of regressed to 2- and 3-star players, it seemed. So I think if anything, maybe he just didn't surround himself with the proper support staff to develop the talent that he did bring in, because, he had consistent top 10 classes,
Go ahead, Badi.
And when you allude to the development, ultimately, that falls squarely on the head coach. You have to have a plan for every recruiting class that comes in. And in football, it's so much more dynamic than any other sport because you have so many different positions to address. And some years, you're top heavy in certain positions. So his plan was to try to get to that model of power I, hand the ball off, run, and get those type of personnel. However, there's few teams that can sort of boast that NFL-style offense anymore, and that is, for instance, the likes of Alabama. Beyond Alabama, in the top 10, everyone else is an up-tempo, high-tech type of offense, and that has spread like wildfire in high schools. No one wants to come and play at Michigan because it's Michigan anymore. It's not like that, unless there's some diehard son or daughter of an alumnus who, I'm going to Michigan regardless because that's where I'm at. They used to get the best players out of Ohio, like Desmond Howard, to say the least. They're not coming. The best players aren't, those 5 stars aren't coming. You need to get a coach in right now who has a plan, who I believe Rich Rodriguez had a little bit of that plan. I listened to him speak a couple times.
From what I hear about Rich Rodriguez, it was the way he treated the alumni that didn't sit well. That tradition of Michigan football, like, you know, the dressing room area, how he handled situations there. I heard that was a problem. It wasn't so much on the field with him.
True enough, but you knew his plan.
Yeah.
Everywhere he's went, his plan was simple. He wanted to get speed on the perimeter. He wanted to have an upbeat offense. He wanted to play a slightly skewed defense that had some extra defensive backs on the field to try to play just varying coverages. And I've listened to him speak a few times, and he stands by the idea that this plan will work, but you have to commit 100% to it. And no one's going to question what his plan is. You look at what he ran at West Virginia, to what he ran at Michigan, to how he's running things at Arizona, and they look strikingly similar. He doesn't just go get players to fit his bill. He goes and gets the best athletes. He coaches them up. He works through his system. They repeat the process over and over and over again, and they're successful. And if Michigan alumni want to win, they have to roll into the times where, hey, we have to get a coach that's going to connect with the players, because good players make good coaches. And right now, they're not getting those real good players.
Speaking of coaches, already there's a buzz who's going to be coming to Michigan. Let's see if we can solve that problem. There's a list of coaches that have already been mentioned. Jim Harbaugh's name, of course, he's with the 49ers right now. Greg Schiano, I believe he's with Rutgers right now. Les Miles, Dan Mullen, and Pat Narduzzi. Pat Narduzzi, I find it interesting that his name was even mentioned. I cannot ever see a Michigan State guy being at Michigan. I just doesn't, I don't think that's going to ever happen.
No, I can't see that happening.
That one caught me off guard, and I'm like, no way.
Yeah, and you know how Michigan views Michigan State as that little brother. I mean, to kind of swallow their pride, and you know, he could be a very good candidate from what I understand about
for
football.
Another school.
I mean, yeah, he's a very good coach, but for them to
Can you
swallow
imagine
their
him
pride,
going to Michigan and saying, "This is how we did it at Michigan State"?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm pretty sure they would be more than happy to take a coach like Nick Saban, who did spend some time at Michigan State, and bring him to Michigan. The bottom line is they have to go get themselves a football coach who is going to be an outstanding recruiter and connect.
Anybody on that list there? Do you think any of you guys think one of them could be the guy, the next guy? Go ahead, bring that list up again for us, if you don't mind, Steve. And the one guy that stands out to me is Les Miles.
Les Miles, I believe, has a clause in his contract that is a little bit too big. I don't even know if the deepest pockets in Michigan can buy him out of
There's no money issue
LSU.
in Michigan.
I'm not sure though. He has, and he just signed an extension. I thought it was the year before last. So it's Les Miles could have had that job at any point.
And that's why I think his name's out there, because he's always been mentioned.
Yeah.
They locked him up, like Madia said, they re-sign him, they lock him up, so the buyout now becomes almost impossible to attain him, right? So the name that I was thinking of as soon as the seat began to get warm in Michigan was Jim Harbaugh, just because of the tenuous relationship he has in San Francisco, and many of
Agreed.
And a lot of people are like, why would he leave the NFL for college again? Well, at this point, it's power, right? Like, they may give him the keys to the Mercedes, so to speak, and say, hey, you know, it's your show, you run it. Whereas he's lacking that in San Francisco. He doesn't, I imagine he'd have to weigh in on the new AD if they're going to keep Hackett around, or if they're going to hire a new person, if they may offer it to him. Who knows? But Jim Harbaugh is going to have the kitchen sink, so to speak, thrown at him.
I think you're right there, Paul, but the only question I have with Harbaugh, does he want to go back and have to recruit players?
Well, the thing is, though, one of the criticisms of Jim Harbaugh is that the locker room was tired of hearing his voice, right? Like, now you're dealing with grown men who are paid as a job, where on the flip side, in the world of college athletics, maybe Matt can attest to this, being a college head coach, is that they're there to fulfill a need of education, right? They want to be there. They have to be there. They're on scholarship. Maybe he can reignite that tradition of Michigan football, or what it means to be a Michigan alum, or networking and reaching out to people who played.
All right. Cal wrote in and he says, I'll coach Michigan for nothing. Good job. Good offer, Cal. Maybe they'll take you up on that. We're going to take a timeout here on the Sports Den. When we come back, we'll check in with the Ray Rice situation. And if time does allow us, we'll talk a little NBA basketball right here on the Sports Den.
We're wishing you all a very happy Christmas from Bob Riem Sports. Christmas season is upon us, and we have the apparel for the sports fan in your life. We will have many specials between now and Christmas. We can supply you with the gift for the special person on your Christmas list. Ho, ho, ho. Just wanted to send out a special thank you to all of our customers from the past from Bob Riem Sports, and looking forward to seeing you again in 2015. Once again, have a happy holiday.
Hi, I'm Joe Quenneville, coach of the Chicago Blackhawks and a proud graduate of FJ Brennan High. I can remember fondly my 5 great years at Brennan. It seems like just yesterday that we're there. A lot of great life lessons that I learned along the way, particularly from my teachers in the Catholic program. Want to wish everybody there good luck, and look forward to being a proud graduate and being a proud Cardinal going on here in Chicago.
Like our champions, we know what it takes to win. Every day we put on our uniforms and we strive to be the best. Ring after ring, we keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Our craftsmen have put in thousands of hours to master their trade. And when things get tough, we make the adjustments needed to stay on top. Barron Championship Rings. This is who we are.
Adding new products or services to your brochure? Updating those drab business cards? Or looking to create a striking window display? In need of some screen-printed signs for that construction site or promotional campaign? Posters, vehicle wraps, and a whole lot more. At Angel Star Digital, our expert design and production team are ready to meet all your promotional needs. For samples of our work, check out our website at www.angelstardigital.com, or you can call us at 519-969-0712. That's 519-969-0712.
The discussion has not stopped here, that's for sure. Welcome back to the Sports Den Live. Dominic Papa with you, and we'll get right back to our panel in just a moment. A quick reminder, though, again, of a couple of things coming up in our area. One, NBL basketball here on we-tv.ca. The Express will take on the London Lightning this Friday, December 5th at 7 p.m. We'll have all the action live for you at www.we-tv.ca. And also, don't forget the Windsor Minor Novice Christmas Party Cannon Coat Drive at 80 Knox Arena. Be generous, help out those less fortunate. It runs from 2 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. out at the 80 Knox Arena. Badia Kwas is here from the Essex Red Raiders football program. Paul Gabriel from St. Joseph's High School coaching fraternity. And Matt Devon, the bench boss of the men's basketball team at St. Clair College. Ray Rice has been reinstated by a judge to the NFL. I'm not sure how Commissioner Goodell likes that idea, but he's got to live with it. And now the question mark is, will Ray Rice find a team to play on? I'll let you guys answer that. Will he find a team?
Not this year, but I am confident that he will play football again in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, this year it's too late in the season. I don't think any team wants to get into the headache or the distraction of the media and everything that's going to be associated with it. And let's make no mistake, what he did was absolutely unacceptable. Today's society cannot even not one iota can you fathom something like that happening. And the reality of it is, moving forward, time is the only thing that's going to heal this. Taking the off season, allowing him to continue with his whatever kind of therapy him and his wife are going through. They've already went on major networks as a couple discussing the issue.
Well, he's been out there.
The future is going to be football for Ray Rice. I believe NFL fans are forgiving to an extent.
Michael Vick got back in.
Absolutely, and I do believe there's going to be an owner who has probably found himself in just a tough spot back in his day, and he's going to say, you know what, we're going to give this guy another chance.
Paul, you're saying yes, yes, yes.
I think
Obviously, you
he's
agree.
back, but not this season. Teams need to deal with that distraction. If it's especially like the teams that were swirling, like the Colts or the Saints, teams vying for a playoff spot. It's not going to be about the team in that sense now. Like picking up former Pro Bowl player. In fact, it's going to be how are you going to deal with the fan base that's going to reject you now, or how are you going to deal with the media spectacle, or how are you going to deal with Ray Rice and his teammates and the wives of the teammates and the like. So I think teams are going to stay away in terms of, as tempting as it is to fill a need. They're gonna. It's the bigger problem is that he needs help and he needs to go take that time period to heal and to deal with it with his wife and seek out any therapy that he is already. And knowing what he did was wrong, and then kind of coming back and being accepted slowly, right? Because at the end of the day, the NFL is a forgiving league, as we saw with not only Michael Vick, but Incognito, right? Incognito was a bully wherever he went, and then the whole thing with Jonathan Martin kind of blew it up, and he was even being courted to come back. So at the end of the day, I hate to say this, I don't agree with it, but it's productivity, and he's a productive back, and someone's going to be like throwing him a bone to kind of be productive for them and kind of take him under their wing to rehabilitate him, I guess.
He's 29 years old, I believe, so he's still got some shelf life there. Does he find a spot this year, Coach Devin, or?
No, I don't think this year. But like Paul alluded to, I think it's based on talent. Guys get second chances if they have talent, and I think he'll be given that chance. And he probably would have been signed already this year if his skills were kind of diminishing over the past maybe year or so before this even happened. And really, the NFL's bottom line business. It's about the results on the field. How can you argue that they care about anything else but results and whether or not you can help the team win? If you can help the team win, they'll get past any sort of issue they have with your personal life and put you on the team. But if you can't, then all of a sudden, well, I don't know if it's if we can handle that media-wise. But if he was like a 2,000-yard back last year, he'd be signed like that. And
like if Adrian Peterson was on the market right now. Yeah, I'm sure.
And Adrian Peterson may be back on the market very soon.
Well, if he wins this appeal that he just filed today, then it's a different story. But he, again, not taking anything away from what he did. That was awful too. But the problem is that precedent needs to be set. So these guys need to be suspended, and to the fullest extent of the law. Adrian Peterson being suspended by the Vikings.
Adrian Peterson was just disciplining his kid, though. I think that's a little bit of a different situation.
No, I know, but
I don't agree with taking a twitch to your kid. But you know what? It's his kid. He's raising him. That's the way he was raised. He said that himself.
Make no mistake, though, right now, the NFL has a black eye.
Oh, for sure.
And it is bruised, and there are a lot of markings on their face right now. And there is no way the NFL is going to allow either one of those players to play this year. They do not need another resurfacing of child abuse or spousal abuse, any kind of domestic violence.
But this has been taken out of Goodell's hand and the NFL.
True enough, but the owners.
Do you think maybe there's something behind the scenes here where the owners, Goodell has said to the owners, look, don't sign this guy this year?
Yes, the owners understand that Roger Goodell has.
Is that not collusion?
Yes, but the owners understand that Roger Goodell has made them a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. That's why Goodell was never going to get fired.
So the reality of it is they want to ensure that their league and their product remains as clean, if you will, as possible. And bringing those guys in this year, whatever court work, whatever paperwork has to be done, Adrian Peterson will not get an opportunity to play in the rest of this calendar year, football season that is, and Ray Rice will not, because no owner is going to step on the toes of the league that makes them money by bringing him back.
Agreed. Okay, I got a few seconds left, guys. Prediction. Who does sign Ray Rice? Tell me where he's going to end up.
Ooh, good question. I believe Ray Rice needs to go somewhere where he has a connection with the coach. I know this might be a little far-fetched, but a couple places that might not have been on the forefront. Detroit Lions with his connection with Caldwell.
I've heard Detroit already. Quickly.
I think he goes somewhere with a coach that faced sanctions from the league, Sean Payton, New Orleans, next year.
All right.
I really have no idea.
St. Clair College Saints?
Yeah,
no,
I'm sure he'll end up somewhere, and hopefully he turns himself around and learns from this. But yeah, it's
Tough call.
Yeah, not a good thing.
Tough call. I've heard the Lions, though, and that's an interesting prospect. Bidi, Paul, Matt, thanks for coming in. Great job, guys. Appreciate you taking the time out to come and join us here. We'll get you back in here sometime soon, and until then, take care of yourselves, okay? Thank you to everybody that tuned in to this edition of the Sports Den Live. Check us out again next Tuesday, same time, same channel, and we'll talk some sports again for you. For now, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great week. Take care, everybody.